And we are back. Peach Fuzz Season 2, Episode 3. The countdown to high school baseball is officially on. T
Yeah,
minus 19 days?
yeah. It feels like it's here now. We're talking about practices this week already. Obviously, the weather looks pretty miserable this upcoming weekend, so we're trying to get it in now as the week starts. I know everybody's got tryouts this week and whatnot, so you may or may not see Avery and I out on the field possibly tomorrow. But yeah, I think we're ready to get after it. This is finished up preseason IDs last weekend. That was a good last 3 or 4 weeks. I can't even remember at this
Yeah,
time as we
three
talk here, but
back to back
yeah,
to back weekends. Yep,
back
three
to back to
weekends.
back weekends. So yeah, really good 3 weeks there. Got all over the state. Finished up with the strong couple weeks we'll talk about here in a few minutes, man. But yeah, fired up for high school baseball season, man. It's the best time of the year. We kind of live for this time of the year.
Yeah,
You
we've
said
been talking.
400 games, but we'll push for five if we can.
Yeah, we've been
So
preaching that at the IDs, and it's a really fun time of the year. This is really where we've kind of come to make our mark, and now with the addition of Avery, I guess this will be year 3 for him in high school season, and then obviously year 3 or 4 for you, and then we'll have a couple other guys bouncing around the state as well, kind of getting their feet wet for us. So we're excited to cover some baseball. Yeah, I think just thinking about it, like volume wise, I think it's doable. We've never had this many people to send to games, but we also want to send guys to the right matchups, the right places. So the plan is to be any and everywhere, hopefully starting on February 9th.
yeah, cover every corner of the state. I think that's the goal. Obviously, we're going to start it off down south, so that'd be really cool to start seeing some South Georgia teams to open up the year is pretty awesome. Obviously, some Atlanta-based team down there as well, but just fired up for that. And then obviously, I know Avery's got some. I think he's already mentioned he has Gatewood on the schedule already in February, so
Yeah.
like that's
I think it's
getting
within
after it
weeks.
down there in that part of the state as well. So
I saw another
um,
good one just a second ago. North Cobb Christian's playing Strong Rock Christian at Strong Rock, maybe, or it said Locust Grove. So that's kind of a cool matchup. I think that's early. I think that's opening week as well. So
there's some pretty
yep.
interesting matchups this year.
Yeah, and then we were talking about it at the Cherokee County Media Day, but they're changing. The way there's like, I guess, strength of schedule is going to be really, really important next year.
Yeah.
So we're start talking about that sort of thing more and more as we go, just with how many teams we've seen and the amount of players and games that we get to see. Something that we might start looking at a little bit more is kind of having a strength of schedule system, whether it's our own system or whether we adopt another one that's already in place. It would be kind of cool to look at as we go. But outside of that, let's jump right into some preseason IDs. We were at LakePoint on Saturday, which ended up being really nice weather. We were kind of worried it was going to be cold and windy like it always is there, but it was really nice. We had 60 or so kids out there for the LakePoint preseason ID, and really kind of anything and everything. Had some uncommitted 26s, had some committed 26s, had some 29s, up and coming 28s as well. Some guys we saw in the summer, a lot of new names as well. That's what these IDs are for, is to find new guys and get new guys on the radar for the spring season. So yeah, why don't we jump into some standouts for you guys? Avery, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll start with Connor Mitchum.
You can start with
Uh,
Everett. You can start with Everett and Truitt. Go ahead and get it out of the way.
um, yeah, I'll kind of start with Truitt.
They're
Now you
both.
put him on the
Yeah,
spot. This is
I know. They're both really good though.
yeah,
And we've seen them like he was. Which one was a junior future gamer?
it was
Truitt or Everett?
Truitt. Yeah, and I think he
Truitt.
was.
Yeah, and so they both looked awesome. Everett was unreal on the mound. Like that's
Yeah,
could be one of the bigger sleepers in the state come here in a few weeks. So yeah, talk a little bit about those guys.
yeah, and I was telling Ian for Everett, he was 87 in the summer, and he was just kind of easy going, just like 83, 84 on the mound. And his
Yeah, from a gross slot.
yeah, his horizontal movement's kind of elite on every pitch. It's like 22 on the fastball, 24 on the sinker, and then 26 on the changeup. So everything's darting in and out, and it's really tough to pick up out of that slot. And it's gonna tick up.
Yeah,
It's
this for sure.
it's yeah. And then Truitt was Max EV 92.5 and then average 87, which was I think he
Big
was
uptick for him. What was his
I
what was
want to
his
say like
JFG numbers?
77 max EV at JFG's. So like
Yeah,
crazy
that's
jump.
insane.
Yeah. And he's really bulked up. He's 6 foot 173 and he's only getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah, and that having them up at Pickens this year, I know you might get up there this week, but that's going to be some big pickups with them. Lost quite not quite a bit, but they're kind of returning some core guys, but having some new guys in the mix is going to be big for him. But yeah, just looking 2024 max EV of 77.9 and an average of 66.8. Obviously, he's 14 at that time, but really 2 years times he's in the averaging 87, which is a really good round of VP kind of at all levels, regardless for a 28 and then a max EV of 92.5. So good stuff there. I love his swing. I've always loved his swing, and then they
And in
both
game
kind of show up
they're both
in
gonna
game as well.
play with their hair on fire. They're really scrappy. They're gonna do the little things right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited to see Everett, and he's got. I'll be anxious to see if he's able to pick AJ's brain a little bit.
Yeah, he's already
Similar
started.
type. Yeah, similar type frames. Little slower arm slot for Everett, but still that whippy natural arm action from both of those guys. So I'd imagine that they're cooking up some good stuff pitch wise for this coming season for sure.
I still remember Everett popping out. I think he was picking up with the team in the fall, and he played USA Scout and just was throwing these like absolutely sinker slider, just like diabolical in and outs of these guys, and they didn't know what was coming at 85, 87. He was spinning it well, and that was probably one of the funnier outings of the night because they didn't know what to expect from that slot, and like gaps you haven't seen him a ton. And when you're seeing that kind of spin in that slot, it's kind of hard to pick up, and he was striking out some good guys we'll talk about later in the show as well, which was a fun one for me. But yeah, I mean, it was a good day on Saturday. Obviously, like you mentioned, 60 guys, but we can talk about the 28 class. I don't think we've talked about that group really at all this year. Just kidding that is. But Connor Mitchum, man, a guy who was supposed to be a preseason All-State, battled a little bit of sickness. I think he was that week.
Yeah.
Missed out, and then made the trip down to LakePoint and put on a show in BP. It was like 93.3 average. I think every ball off the bat was a barrel. Was peppering balls to pull side. He sent 4 or 5 balls out pull side. I think he had a max distance of 388. He was bouncing balls off the containers out there. So they're kind of loud when it's a quiet day at Lake Point. So he was just sending balls however he wanted. I think he's up to 6'4" now, 205 pounds.
Looks really good.
Yeah, it still hasn't really reached his peak physically either. There's still some room to grow there, mature-wise, physically. So he's going to continue to do that, continue to show well behind the plate. His actions when he catches are extremely well for that size, bends well, moves in and out of the crouch well. Doesn't look like he's out of place in the crouch at that size, which is tough to do. And with a lefty swing like that, there's a ton to project there. Talking to a few guys after the showing who saw the video that were kind of fired up about it. So really good showing for him, and it should be a big breakout spring going into his sophomore year.
Yeah, hard hit percentage is 75% from him and a sweet spot of 62.5. Line drive at 50 and then fly ball at 37.5. So max distance of 388, average of 282. So awesome stuff to see from him. And he's a perfect example of what the ID series is all about. I know he came to the LakePoint preseason ID, but we first found / saw Connor in Augusta at the Augusta preseason ID last January, right? And so that's really what these ID series are built for. He earned an invite to top prospect games over the summer after seeing him in that ID, and then obviously getting the upper or underclass preseason All-State invite as well. So that's exactly what these IDs are for. We keep guys in the system, and then we just keep watching them grow from here. And I was talking to Coach Moss at All-State with Gatewood. Jaden was there, and they're kind of going to have the like kind of 3-headed Bash Bros between Connor Meacham, Jaden Moss, and Lawson Moore. So that could be like back to back. If they're in the, I think he said they were 3, 4, 5. I can't remember what he said. He's such a fun guy to talk to, anyways. He's super fired up about the season, but that could be some back to back bombs in the near future for those guys, and they still have 3 more years with all of them, right? With Jaden and Lawson being 28. So a lot of fun stuff at Gatewood. So I definitely think that's one that which Avery already has it, but going to be one to see early for sure.
I mean, and they all have approaches too to go along with that juice. So
Yeah.
those three going 3, 4, 5 in the lineup is as good as it gets in that region for them. So excited to see them make another deep playoff run. I think they made state last year, so trying to make it
Yeah,
there
yeah.
2 years in a row.
Yep, and we were over on we ended up double barreling BP that day, thinking that trying to get guys out of the weather a little bit quicker. But over on my field, we had some really good bats as well. I know Avery popped over for a few, but Eli Prin looked awesome. We had been seeing how big year he's been having at football state championship run with Jefferson. So excited to get out to see Jefferson early in the spring. He was looking really physical. He put a couple balls out as well. He's always been a guy that plays hard, one of those guys that shows up in game, and it was good to see him. I know he wanted to get outdoors as well, just for an ID to kind of get back in shape and get ready for tryouts this week. So, he had a really good round over on my side as well, and then Dyson Sparks we got to see again. That was a good look. Once again, Max EV of 98.6.
Hearing lore about that on the opposite field, him putting balls off the scoreboard back to back in a loud round. Obviously, back 2 weeks in a row, we see him look good. Obviously, I'll let you talk about it more, but I was just wanted to chime in there because I was hearing about it in midst of the round, so I knew it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
something to do.
it was loud for sure, and transferring from indoors to Lake Point, it obviously is always fun to see that translate. And yeah, he had a really good round there. Average EV of 90.9, max distance of 376. So another exciting young guy. I know we talked about it maybe last week on the show, but a player to watch at Etowah, of course. So another big bat on the way in for Coach Robinson. Who else was on my side? Eli Wood was really good. That was a good one to see. Coffee County boy. We'll definitely get out to see those guys early. We got to see him, I guess, back when we went to do the ID at their place back in January of 24. But he had a really good round. Didn't really kind of forgot he switched it, but had a good round from both sides of the plate. Max EV of 94.2, max distance of 361. Really good actions throughout, like the swing, barrel stays in the zone, so he'll be a big piece for those guys as they're kind of trying to get back a little revenge from their early exit last year. I know we talked about it in their preview, but yeah, him and Barrett Harrell both had really good rounds. Coffee County kid as well, so look for those two to get in the mix and be key contributors with Coffee and Coach Groves and Fussell and those guys. So they're looking to be having a strong year in 26.
Yeah, two of the key upperclassmen for that team that lost some guys last year. I just finished up their preview this past week, so expect both to be key cogs in that lineup. I think some young guys come up as well, but having those two upperclassmen coming back to just who had near full-time roles last year and to kind of build off that into this year will be huge for them, and to have a good showing like this at Lake Point early in the year will give them some confidence heading into the spring, and obviously being a few weeks away now as we started the show with, I think they'll be fired up with that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A couple other guys I had over there. Montavious Fowler was good. He was a guy we got to see at Lake Point a handful of times in some tournaments. Good group of 29s as well. We had Luke Taylor there, Drew McGee, who was or I guess he didn't come to Junior Future Games, but we got to see him in March. A guy for Lassiter that could potentially maybe get in the mix this year. I know they're always a pretty heavy upper class squad, but he's gotten really physical, 6'3", 192 pounds. A guy for 6'4", and Lassiter to keep an eye on. Cal Coleman,
Yeah.
that was a good look at him. We never really got to see him a ton before. He's a Cougars kid as well for Pope, so
It's
of
crazy
course.
these pipelines that some of these schools have, man. You know, just kids you see for the first time that look like they could be like possibly everyday starters at other high schools. You know, when you see him from a first look, and it's just this is a sophomore that probably won't get the most playing time on varsity, but will be an everyday guy on JV and has the tools to be there and be an instant contributor when he makes varsity as a junior. Like we've talked about other times in the show, is just being ready when your time comes, and he's the perfect example of that in some of these pipelines and some of these prestigious high schools have that are always in the Final Four and state championship every year.
Yeah, definitely. Carson McQuillan had a really good pin on the mound. I can't remember. I guess that was probably on the other field, but once again, Walton kid, up to 86.1, sitting around 82, 84. So arm for them that could potentially get in the mix. We've heard a couple, not a couple, but one of their arms may be down for a little bit, so they're going to need some guys to step up to mix with some of that senior leadership that they have, and with Walker and Logan and those guys. So he had a good pin on the mound. I was over there for that one. Levi Pickett was another name I actually got to see in the doubleheader at Eastside, and big physical 6'5", 225 pound sophomore, that's really just kind of scratching the surface. He has a lot of growing room to do in the frame, sitting low 80s, but I think there's more intent to be found in that frame, obviously. So it was good to see him. Kind of I didn't realize he was coming up, but I remember seeing him at that Walnut Grove series. That was good to see him in that setting. Emerson Nolder was a freshman that we had never really got to see. Catcher, right-handed pitcher, from Noonan. That's another one that always good to get on the radar, especially at a school like Noonan. We see those guys a lot, and will definitely be one to keep an eye on in the future.
Yeah, it was a good group, man, to finish. I mean, I would say finish out the
Yeah, last weekend though. Yeah,
last
really.
weekend of it. Obviously, we're moving over to East Georgia here on Sunday for a few
Yeah.
games. Good showing there. I think we had almost 50 to finish it out, which
Yep.
is 100 plus kids on the last weekend is a great way to finish out the ID series.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we can jump right into the East Georgia one. We were supposed to be doubled up on Sunday. Actually, we were going to be at Woodward Academy for the Atlanta preseason ID, and then we were going to be at East Georgia or at IVSA for the East Georgia one. But yeah, just kind of got too cold. Ended up moving those guys indoors. Pretty much got everybody there that we needed to for the most part. And yeah, had a really good showing from the group at East Georgia. If you want to kick us off with some names.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you start there with Miles Thomas, Avery. I know that's your guy. I mean, he had one of the better showings of the day, probably in every facet. I'll let you kick it off there.
Yeah, let's see here. I think
Best
it was the
kicked it
best
off with a 30. I
best
know he
30
ran
word of
it
the day.
3.63, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sub, yeah, 363, and then he
You're good. I should have them right.
but yeah, his
We had some issues with his profile, but oh yeah, it's good
yeah,
now. 98.1 max, 88.2 average.
and then max distance 360. But yeah, this was a kid that I think pinch hit a little bit for Westlake last year when I went to go see them. So he'll look to step into a bit of a bigger role this year with some guys heading out and graduating. And
Yeah,
then
you talk about the athletes that Westlake has.
yeah,
I mean, just a guy who just pinched hit last year and looks like a guy that could be an instant contributor this year as he moves into a possibly bigger role.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was my first looked at him. It looked really good swing at the plate. Obviously, twitchy athlete.
And he's always
But
hit for the bombers
obviously,
when we've seen it.
He went 80, 87, 88, 89, 90 from the outfield in his workout as well, which is good to see. He
nice.
just kept getting better and he kept getting more accurate with his finish off with your strongest throw with accuracy is a good way to end your round and end his day per se.
Yeah, a guy that I actually never had seen before. I don't know if you guys had or not. Was Charlie Carton, or Garton,
Garden.
from yeah, Garton from Marietta. 6'3", 190 pound frame, kind of a dream to kind of build on as he goes. But had a really loud round of BP. I was out towards the outfield per se, while in the indoor watching that, and went max EV of 100.2, average of 85. But really like the swing. Like I said, I don't know if you guys had seen that before, but that was definitely a good look for me. I think that I would think he's in the mix at Marietta, right? We got to see those guys a handful of times last year. I don't remember seeing him right off the bat, but it was at Georgia Dog Club when we were running around everywhere, so we didn't really bear down on anybody. Yeah, really good day from Charlie.
Yeah, I think I
Really
saw him
good
in the
accuracy in
summer
the
of
field as well.
24, and he was with ATL Lightning, and I think he started at shortstop. So he's a really athletic kid that can kind of fill multiple positions for them. for Marietta.
Yeah. It doesn't look like he's played a ton of showcase or tournaments with us, but was in GDC last year. So, I'm assuming Marietta's probably back this year. They always seem to be in Dugout Club. We really, a few more days, and we really probably start turning the pages of Dugout Club in the full high school season. But yeah, really, really good day for Charlie. Who else for me? I know we had a couple. Chase Kewart looked really good. He was a kid that we had seen at the Rising Stars All State over the years. I guess it's been 2 years since we've seen him actually, but he had a really good day. He's gotten pretty physical. Let's see. That is not him on his profile. Need to get that fixed. I went to click on it and wrong video there. But yeah, last time we'd seen him was 2024, and he was really improved across the board. Max EV of 72 back in 24, and now he's up to 90.4. Had a really good round, stayed through the middle of the cage. Max distance of 334. So he's over at Gainesville with old Chan Brown now. So I would imagine he's probably got a chance to catch a little bit. I don't know who else they have over there for catching off the top of my head, but really good actions behind the dish. Yeah, I would say look for him to get in the mix for Gainesville this year.
We'll stick in that area with a couple of Oconee County kids here for me. Tate Lipscomb's first one for me. Just kind of a hitter in the box for both sides of the plate. It's my first time seeing him. Kind of a compact, 5'7", 200-pound frame. 2-second even pops from behind the plate, but the hitting actions from both sides were pretty mirror image. Feel for the barrel, was driving balls to all fields. I think he had a 94 max EV on the day. It was easy. He came into the round with a plan. It's good to see that when the kid's hitting off the machine, the timing kind of gets to him. He came in there with a plan to hit, showed his hit tool, was able to spray the ball all from both sides. It's kind of one of the better rounds of the day for me, but maybe the biggest winner of the day, William Rusatek, a guy that we were kind of high on coming in. I know Avery had seen him a few times. I had seen him a few times. Not even going after him, kind of guy who kind of stuck and popped. Went at a game, like kind of the main thing that the spring season is for. You go looking for one guy, then you have another guy pop, and then he kind of came into this year in this setting and showed kind of a different profile than we haven't seen from before. It was kind of bat to ball only. Was kind of just slapping the ball, spraying balls from side to side. Maybe added 10 to 15 pounds of good muscle in the offseason. It was max EV of 103.1. I think he was over 90 plus on the average EV. Was 92 across the infield. And he thinks he's a primary PO too with 5 pitches on the mound. So I think there's kind of a ton to unlock there. Kind of has a chance to be the guy with guys like Cole Johnson moving on from Oconee County. So going to step into a bigger role in the middle of that order. Going to be at first base for this team. Going to pitch for this team as well. Probably going to be the 1 or the 2 on the mound. So expect him to be kind of a huge piece for them moving into the spring and moving into his uncommitted junior year. And I know it's already been an exciting time since this past weekend, so I think he's got a real chance to have an exciting next couple of months.
Yeah, and talk about him and Blake Thomas. Blake Thomas was another one for me.
Really
I didn't get to see Oconee last year. I know Ian, you saw him a couple times. Avery, you saw him a couple times, but I really liked his swing from the left side, and they were actually in there probably a good, I don't know, 45 minutes
At least
after
an
the
hour.
event.
It must have been an hour. They left seconds before we did. And
Yeah,
that was an hour after their work.
getting their post recovery, bands, plyometric stuff,
Bear
doing
crawls,
some bear crawl, like they were getting after it. So
modified
good to see.
push-ups. They were doing it all.
Yeah, good to see kids like that, get ready to get into the high school season. That kind of stuff goes a long ways. I know we talked about that to one of the groups. Just the maintenance in season is really, really important, especially with as much as you guys play baseball these days. It's turned into year round. Obviously, we're starting in January with it, 30 degrees outside. So good stuff to see there. Anybody else? Anybody else for you guys? Oh, and we're good on Chase's video. It was actually a video of him throwing guys out at behind the dish. I saw the hitter and I was like, oh, that's not Chase, but that might have been a past intern getting some getting some pops from behind the dish. So all good there.
But yeah, I'll touch on Charlie Doe. This is a kid, Ian. I think I gave you his name during the summer with Lightning. It may have been in the fall, but I was like, this kid can really hit. And he came out, he was 5'10", 174. Kind of showed an immense ability to rotate at 30.5 max rotational acceleration. It's really compact through the zone, fast bat, feel for the barrel. He went average 90.8 on the exit velocity and then 99.6 max exit velocity. It's strong actions as well behind the plate. He went 9.4 or 1.94 pop with a 78 catcher velo. And this is definitely one of those kind of uncommitted guys that I'll get out to chase in the spring.
Yeah, for sure. That was really my first look. I never really bared down on in the summer, and really liked that look as well. It was good to see Owen Patterson in this setting. Obviously, a pretty upper class heavy North Forsyth team this year with Aiden Kitches and Bryson Germanenko, but he's a versatile kid that could get in the mix easily, especially if somebody were to go down at any point. He can play kind of any position. And Avery, I know he performed well for you pretty much all summer and fall, right, for service. So good to see him in this setting. Another guy for me, Jackson Mincer. He's a guy I've seen some in the past. This offseason, just twitchy, really good athlete, moves really well. Not sure what it's looking like over at Kings Ridge this year with a probably a heavy group of seniors there, but I think he's a guy that could definitely be a defensive guy late in games for those guys. I know they always are in it, in the playoffs and looking to get past kind of that, early first round here, in 26 hopefully. But he's a guy to keep an eye on for sure. I like the actions a lot. We saw his cousin last weekend, Braden Mincer, who had a really good week as well. So we'll definitely get out to see Kings Ridge early in the season at their new field.
Yeah, and I mean, and the last guy I'll mention here is just a guy that we've seen a ton since he's been real young, but the frame just continues to get more physical. It just continues to look more impressive at the plate, more fluid. That's Spencer Norman. I think it looks like he's got a chance to be an everyday guy for Woodward this spring. He was up to 103. I mean, I think he led the event with 103.
Yeah, event. Yep.
I think he was up to 91.8 average, which were both PRs for him. 388 max. Was just all over the barrel. Ran well. I think it was a 3.8, I believe he ran. 86 from the outfield as well. He's up to 195 pounds.
Ran a 3.8.
Yeah,
3.8.
Up 10 pounds from the summer. Just continues tried to break the grip shrink machine as well. Up to 180 in the grip. Just looks the part of just that physical corner outfielder that you can plug up there and has a chance to hit double-digit homers as an underclassman this upcoming season.
25.8 max vert as well. So that's a pretty good jump on Vald.
Again, this, like I said, it's been added 10 pounds of weight. Like this is a kid who's just kind of figuring it out physically. Still another member of this elusive 2028 class that I'm going to talk about probably more than anything on this podcast this season is going to be that class. But it's special, man, and he's been a guy that we've seen it, like I mentioned, seen a ton. It's always been kind of stiff at the plate, just kind of really figuring out his swing. Just had to get to that point, like I mentioned, kind of grown into that body, was getting more physical as he grew up, and then kind of get into it now. Gets to that barrel pretty often, and can like I just mentioned, can do it in game as well, and has a chance to be a real factor for that Woodward team as a sophomore this year. He got in the mix last year as a freshman, but I think it's a chance to be an everyday guy this upcoming spring.
And this has turned in. This could be one of my favorite things to do is looking back on players and having year after year. We did the then and now series in the fall, and but just looking at his profile, obviously he had a drop 5 in his hand in 2023, but we're going max EV of 97.7, average of 87.8, and a max distance of 364. The dude used to annihilate some balls with a drop 5. But, we even have data on him from back to 22. First time we saw him was September 22nd of 22, and then you just click through 23, 24, 25, 26. So it's a lot of fun to do this type of thing. It's kind of, the sample size is obviously high, and now we get to see him in a high school setting for the next 3 years as well. So, exciting stuff there. But yeah, that wrapped up our preseason. Biggest preseason to date, over 500 players. Really, I don't know, 4 or 5 different stops minus the Atlanta one. But we'll try to get back there, especially in the preseason, and try to highlight, those Atlanta schools. We had some guys from Maynard there, and Westlake, Woodward obviously had a big group there. So plan to get back in there. I think for the most part, I felt pretty good about the regions we got into this preseason. We got 2 spots in South Georgia, kind of as far south as you can get with Savannah-ish, with Camden, and then a little farther north with Macon. So I think we'll definitely be back in Macon. We might bounce east or west for that first one. Richmond Hill might get in the mix. Lee County we've talked to. So, I think the goal, or the plan is to really go south, the very first one, come back up to Macon, and then all states, and then two other ones. So I think I think we might get a South Georgia preseason all state in the mix next year at the indoor facility we stopped at. We'll be back there February 22nd, but indoor facility in Dublin, it's unreal. It's like 40,000 square foot. You can run a 60. You can do anything you want in there pretty much. They had like 4 tunnels upstairs with additional to the floor space. So it was a pretty impressive place. I think we're going to try to get back there next year for sure, for a South Georgia All State event. Save you guys, a good 2-3 hours of driving at least for kind of just those south of Atlanta guys, but even more for the farther south guys. So thank you guys for such a great preseason. I know we kind of already said it, but the content's still rolling out. We got so much good footage from All State especially, but from the other events as well. We're busy chopping it up and getting a plan for getting stuff out, but we'll have stuff coming out daily, more of the higher quality video type stuff. So fun preseason, and got us ready for the high school season for sure.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the content today. I saw we had some interviews rolling out from Preseason All State, and I'm like, man, this is just like, we have so many of these ready to go, and like the high quality video, and just how many kids we've seen in such a short period, and like we're just kind of just getting started for 2026. It just feels like it has a chance to be quite a special season.
Yeah, I would agree there for sure. No doubt. We got a lot of good stuff on the way. Some exciting stuff this spring as well with more than just scouts going to games. We're going to have video guys going to games and everything else. So excited to start mapping that out. I know you guys already have y'all scheduled together, but I got to get on par with that and start looking at some games and start getting some circled. But yeah, with that, what you got?
Adding these media days as well, which I think have been a really cool thing the last few weeks we've done. Obviously, getting out to Gwinnett a few weeks ago with 22 schools was awesome. I know we mentioned it last week, and then following it up this past week with Cherokee County and having the backdrop for that was pretty cool. Obviously, having Emory come out and get some awesome flicks at that was good. I know the kids loved that. It was kind of
Yeah, that was fun.
Kind of intimate with a small group with just 5 schools there. Obviously, we missed out, but we're going to come see Woodstock here soon. Probably this upcoming week, I would think, or this next week.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun. Yeah, it came together. I think that we're still working. Bear with us on like how we're putting it together. We want to still get the videos and like the mic'd up stuff. We're still trying to work on getting it out. We just want to put it out in the right way. We don't want to just do it like raw. We kind of want to do it right. So we're trying to figure out how to piece that together. But yeah, obviously the backdrop came in clutch. We would have had it at Gwinnett, but it got shipped in for All State, and then we're like, well, why don't we bring this and see what happens? And then Emory brought the light set up, and yeah, it's kind of went off from there. So would love to set those up in the future. I don't know how realistic it is to do just one school at a time. I think it's definitely more of a county or region type thing to where we try to bring everybody together and promote the county. I think that's the easiest way to do it and the most efficient way to do it. So would love to do more of those in the future. I think that Gwinnett and Cherokee are going to be on the schedule for years to come now, and I think we get a lot of good stuff from it. Talking to the coaches, the players, and it's just a good experience all around. It gets some guys media trained that are going to be in front of a camera for a long time. We had some guys get choked up and restart, but that's part of it. Like, we're still pretty green at doing a podcast. We're not the best at this by any means, but you just got to do it and put yourself out there. And doing those interviews it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to look at a camera, but I think it's a good thing for everybody involved for sure.
That was a good time. I know we enjoyed it. Talking about choking up, I almost died mid-interview this past one on a mint, so that was a little interviewer error there, but having a great
It's fun stuff. But yeah, circling back on some of these team previews, we haven't really gotten a chance to talk on them a ton. We're starting to roll out some of the heavy hitters here, and we got a good 40 or 50 more to go. So we're going to kick it into overdrive here the next few weeks and start pumping these out. But
We'll be
um,
extending them as well, obviously.
yeah, yeah, we still got time. We got the capacity to get it done. So yeah, just looking at some of these, just we don't have to go through one by one, but just touching on a few of them. North Cobb Christian's going to be a fun team to watch. I think that they need some pieces to step up on the mound, and they're really going to be in a good spot. The lineup's going to be there with the trio of juniors in the outfield with Tambora, Bruce, and JD. And then you got depth behind the plate with Hudson Newell and Truett Stafford. But Stafford's going to have to throw a lot of the innings. But yeah, outside of that, Ian, I know you. This was one of your early ones, and they are going to be a team to watch for sure.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the pitching will have to be there for them early, but like you can't really like miss the lineup. There's gonna be some seniors that are gonna step up. This team that kind of were part-time guys last year that are gonna move into full-time roles this year. That'll be huge. The power speed threat with the trio you mentioned in the outfield is like kind of like as good as it gets for three outfielders in the state.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Obviously,
for sure.
if they hit, they're going to get on base and run. They're going to hit for power. They're going to score a ton of runs in that region. Obviously, they've competed with the best teams in that region. Had some heartbreak a couple years ago. Made a deep playoff run last year. I think those guys have kind of been battle tested as underclassmen. So having those guys to get together the last few years and now to kind of carry that group into this year will be huge for them. And like we mentioned, you mentioned True behind the plate. If he steps up on the mound, be huge. Max Bowman will be big on the mound for them as well. Kind of
Do it
evolve into
all.
do it all piece for them. Yeah, going to be a
Yeah.
middle infield, going to be on the bump for them. It's going to be Brody Brandt, another piece. It's kind of just going to fill any hole you need on that team, whether it's in the outfield or in the infield behind the plate. Like it's kind of that guy, and they have a ton of those guys on that roster that's going to compete always, and they're well coached as well. So I think that's a team that you really can't pass up in 2A.
Yeah, and I know you are talking about the practices. We're gonna get out to see them at some point, and see what they got going on. I know they got some younger guys on the way up as well, so look for them get back in the mix. Who else we got here? Man, Hillgrove. We got to see a lot of Hillgrove guys over the preseason. And yeah, I know Ian, you just got done doing theirs. They're kind of athletic as they come and have the depth throughout on the mound and in the lineup. There he
Yeah.
goes. He was good for a
He
bit.
was doing good. I thought he was fine. But yeah, Hillgrove, man, another team that's loaded on both sides. I think pitching is going to be one of their deepest staffs they've had in recent years. They have, I believe, 4 or 5 committed senior starters. Added a big time RN and Shane Javlinsky from Maryland, who's also committed to Maryland. 6'7".
I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, 6'7", 90, 92, up to 93 with 4 pitches, going to throw strikes. Obviously, Tucker Bowen and Aiden Moore behind him. Nadir Jackson's going to fill either a starter role, be that
He
closer
looked
role as
awesome.
well.
He looked awesome at Allstate as well.
That's a big time. That's a big time piece for them as well. They have some guys behind that. They have, I think, 4 or 5 Gavin Golke, 4 or 5 senior relievers. I think they have on this team as well. It's just pieces. They have the athletic middle infield with Donovan Dorch and Dylan Onro, who we love as well. They have corner pieces that are committed
Just
as well, and
just because
and Chase Hicks, like it's all over the field.
I talked to his dad and Dylan at Allstate, and like we've been butchering his name forever. It's Onray, I
Andre,
believe. Onray. Dylan, I might
yeah,
have messed that up again. I told myself that when y'all told me. I was like, I'm not going to mess that up again.
I couldn't
We've
tell
been
you.
butchering it
So
for years, and we've literally seen Dylan since he was like 12, 11, 12 years old. So apologies there, Dylan.
I'm
But
doing
yeah,
my
that's
best,
going to be a
brother. I
fun group.
appreciate it.
We got Nick Clean is coaching those guys. He actually helped me coach with the Patriots back in the day when I was in college. So I know he's excited about what they have going on there, and Coach Richardson is as well.
That region
Exciting
too is
group. I
gonna
think they're
be.
going to be ready to go and have a good year for sure.
It's going to be one of the most fun regions to watch this year with them and Harrison and McEachern. I think that's going
Mm,
to be like kind of a murderer's row with
yeah.
them three other couple teams in the mix as well. But those three are going to get after it. There's going to be probably some of the best pitching matchups we're going to see in any 6A matchup all spring in those Region 1. So I think that'll be exciting to see there.
And guys like that, like for instance, Aiden Moore, like you saw him against McEachern and was unreal.
Gross.
Guys like that just show up and all of a sudden put on 3 or 4 miles an hour and they're all of a sudden, 92, 94 arms.
Yeah.
Like just you never know with those type of players. He's been on the rise over the years and was kind of a pop up guy last year and then committing to Georgia College. So yeah, they're gonna be fun to watch and keeping things on the tough region. Talk about North Paulding. Kind of as deep as they come as well. They do need a couple pieces on the mound to step up. I think they have the right senior guys to keep them where they need to be, but they're just missing that one big piece to kind of be shut down for them. And I think they're going to be right back where they want to be. But you got two lefties like Jacob Krimvanek and Luke Dolson.
I'm glad you took that for me because I was definitely.
I know. I was on their preview and I was like, I'll give it a shot. But
Yeah.
as a guy we've seen a ton of, and the dude just throws strikes. And you know this, everybody knows this. Strikes in high school baseball, especially early in the year, get outs. And having guys like Dolson and Jacob are going to be huge for Coach Richardson. And they kind of have the lineup to sky's the limit for them, I think.
Yeah, I think obviously with both those guys, they earned like big roles last year. In I think as Jacob was a sophomore and Luke was a junior, but they both put up I think 2.1 or 2.0 ERAs on the year in starting roles. Like obviously when you lose a guy like Yenli and Alaska at the top of that rotation, it's going to be a hard piece to mix. But I think having those two guys earn that experience and like you mentioned, one of the toughest regions in 6A is going to be huge. And a guy they have kind of a wild card in that rotation who, if he puts it all together, it could be lights out.
Yeah.
That's J.R. Hoffman, man.
For sure.
It's 90-92. It's gross. It's sinker slider. It's 4 pitches. Like, it's a big frame. He's going to throw harder. It's going to be 94, 96 bowling balls maybe by the end of the spring, Like, so if he figures it out on the mound and starts to throw strikes and can be that starter for them and kind of emerge that number 3 role, like, I think that's a game changer for them. But I think they have some other pieces behind that can fill that role as well. Obviously, they have guys in the middle infield with Kate Cox, who's been going in to be a 4th-year starter for this team. Been an everyday starter since his freshman year at short, which is like as good as it gets at that position in Georgia baseball. Wesley Mooring at second base is huge, as tooled up as it gets. Athletic, going to be a power speed guy for them. Bryce Davis is as consistent as it gets. He just hits. Every time we see him at LakePoint, he hits. In the spring, he hits. I think he hit 5 bombs for them. Lawson Sheffield. Excuse me.
Yeah, Lawson.
Yeah, I'm talking over myself here. But yeah, Lawson Sheffield at third base as well. Going to be continuity at that position as well. He had almost 1,000 OPS last year in the spring. So they have the pieces to do it. They have some young guys coming up as well that are going to fill roles as well. And obviously, Coach Richardson there. And I think they've made the Elite 8 or better, not 1 year, but the last 3 years. So they knew what.
Hey, you said Elite 8. So fun fact for you, I got dropped earlier today when we released Washington County, but Coach Hopkins at Houston County did take Washington County to the Elite 8 in 2003. So, yep. So your baseball almanac there must have had that one missed. Coach, a young Hopkins, he said, took those guys to the Elite 8.
At least he's reading them. That's good. I appreciate you, Coach. At least you're keeping me honest here. I'm trying to keep
for sure. And hey, we even had I messed up, or I changed the title on one of ours the other day.
Oh,
and
so it's on me. It says second time in school history, and I put first time. So yeah, I appreciate you, Coach, for keeping me honest on that. It's on me.
But I changed the title on one, and it said page not found, and I had some competing a competing team reach out needing that link, to keep an eye on his competition. But no, they're always fun to do. But then like North Paulding, I just clicked here, like you get guys like Noah Larson that run a 6.5 that had an awesome fall and could even, have a really good spring as well. And then Casey O'Brien, who's really been as steady as they come behind the dish. I know we got an interview coming out with them, and I think I just scheduled it for maybe tomorrow night, I think, with him and Skylar Lee, who Lee's been one of the biggest risers over the last kind of 6 months as well. I know Corey talked to him about that in the interview, and then you got Kellen Hoffman on his way up that just hit. So good stuff for Coach Richardson. Good problems to have. I know he's going to have a tough time probably piecing together that lineup, but a lot of good options for him to choose from as he gets going for the season. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the previews. We've already gotten a handful of them out. North Hall is going to be a team to watch with Branson and Caleb Sexton back for a full year.
Ethan
You know,
Johnson in the mix now as well.
Yep, forgot he's over there now. Got Hoko's out as well. I think that Coach Hopkins knows he's just got to have a piece or two on the mound, and I think his lineup will get him where he wants to be with Gallison and Noah and Raymond Bird, Ethan Kinney, and having Tyson is the one. They need a Caden Harvey type or even a George Bassett that we saw at the Macon ID, a guy that's going to catch whenever Raymond's on the mound. And I know he's got a couple other new pieces he's really excited about. So I think that,
Davion Hammonds can really try to fill.
yep, that'll
I
be
know
big for him.
you lose pieces like Kendall Jackson and Vic Gann from the outfield as kind of like irreplaceable pieces there, but I think they have some pieces to kind of fill
Yeah,
those roles and compete
always
for
well
wins.
coached too. They'll get it figured out. But yeah, we're gonna keep rolling these previews out. We're excited to kind of just solely focus on these. We've had an awesome preseason, ton of content still to get out. Like we said, we got staff selections coming out tomorrow for preseason All State underclass. Just trying to highlight some more guys and guys that we kind of got to bear down on and watch a little more of. And then same thing for upper class. We'll have that out probably here in a few days as well. What else? What else we got turning up? Interviews, all those interviews we had from preseason All State, we're going to start posting them, whether it be on IG or on Twitter, looking at, quoting some previews, stuff like that. So, yeah, high school content is here. We do.
Practice tour starting this week. Like,
Yeah, anybody want us to come out to practice, just let us know. We're, kind of open to anything with that. It's a good time for us to just kind of see where guys are at headed into the spring to know, what we're planning on to see, and then also to get some content out on you guys, getting some BP rounds in, some pins if you're doing it. So we're up for that. Just reach out and one of us three will try to get out there. I know we got a handful of guys already on the schedule. Like you said, you guys might even be getting out some places tomorrow. So keep us posted there. We want to try to get out and do that a little bit. Power 25 is looming with some region top 10 preseason. Not poll. We don't really take a poll, but it's just us. So those are looming. I don't know what do you guys think? Should we just release Power 25 like on each podcast episode? Do we do it by with graphics counting it down? Like we want it to kind of be anticipation, but at the same time we want to get them out in a timely manner as well. So we got to decide on that, and we're already starting to look.
maybe make a poll for Twitter. I know you guys
Yeah, right.
like to
Yeah,
put some input in. You guys don't like to put some input on the live show, but maybe you can put some input on a poll so that way
yeah,
we have
guys.
all the
So yeah, we'll have to get those out. Preseason polls are always fun, or I keep saying polls, but the preseason rankings are always fun. It's one of those like we feel good about them. Like obviously we know we're not going to make everybody happy with that kind of stuff, but we see so much baseball, and we'll miss for sure. We'll get some right, and outside of that, we're just using our knowledge to see what we can do. And the preseason is always super tough. You want to give the guys credit from last year's season, but you also want to look at what they lost and what they have coming up this year. So there's so much stuff that goes into it, but it's fun. It's fun. We enjoy it.
it's the best time I think, and I think having the most knowledge on some of these teams where you can talk about 15 guys on a 25-man roster is pretty crazy, or maybe even more on some of these
Yeah,
teams.
I mean some of them you can go with the whole, we can
Yeah,
do the
you can
whole
name
thing.
every
So
guy, you can name every reliever, which is I feels crazy to say, but like it's what we do. So it's the most important time of the year for us. So I mean, I'm fired up and I'm just ready to get things rolling this week.
yeah, this will probably be, I don't know, we'll probably have maybe one more episode next week and just talk solely previews, and probably have to talk about some Power 25s next week. Maybe we'll release the first 5 or 10 maybe next week. We'll probably already technically release them on the website, but we might talk about them on here, go through those probably next week, and then only 3 more episodes until we get to talk about baseball, or two?
Yeah, I think probably less than that. I mean, scrimmages will be starting. We'll be at practices, so we'll be talking baseball every week at this point. I mean, we're here now. I mean, there's no more.
Yeah.
There's no more off weeks, but yeah, we'll be here every week. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Whether
Sundays. We'll get
it's
back to our Sunday.
back to Sunday nights here. Probably we'll say 3 more weeks of we'll do Monday or Tuesdays for the next couple weeks. But then as soon
Yeah.
as the season rolls, it's time for Sunday night baseball, man. So
Yeah, we need to we'll start looking at Georgia Dugout Club, start diving into those. Maybe we'll do some pre-event stuff for it. Those are
yeah,
always really fun. We got
we got
some
some cool pre-event like even for like high school games. Have some thoughts and some content for this year. We want to like hype some games up. We'll definitely do a lot more games of the week this year. Some
yeah.
stuff like that. We
Yeah,
have
I mean,
way more
and y'all
resources to do those
y'all be
things
sending
now.
those in too. We put it in our previews. We put in the previews essentially we said must see games like think prep baseball needs to be at. And obviously we try to go through the schedule day by day and find games, but you guys know your schedule better than we do. So like you tell us the matchups like the rivalry, like we like a little chippiness here and there, whether it's parents, whether it's players, coaches, whatever it may be. Like we
We're
want
here for
those
the energy. We're here
we
for the
want that.
fun for sure.
Yeah, we want the high intensity games. We want the fun games. That's where guys shine the brightest is when the pressure's on and you get some playoff type atmosphere in February. So let us know, especially early. We're kind of wide open. We will try to chase more teams that we won't see at Georgia Dugout Club the first 3 weeks of the season, or 2 weeks, I guess, just because we'll get to see them for 3 games at Georgia Dugout Club. So keep that in mind. If we're not out at some of these bigger names, bigger name games early in the year, it's probably just because we'll get to see you guys at Georgia Dugout Club for maybe 2 straight weeks. A lot of you guys, but that's our thought process there. But let us know some big matchups, some big opening day. I think Avery's still pondering opening day. You got opening day locked in yet? We don't have to reveal
I
it, but
think so, but
yeah,
I mean, there's options.
I haven't even got that far.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
a
been
couple
looking
days
at.
away.
I
I'm a
know
couple days
you've
away.
been dialed. You've had so many things to do on the back end, so now's your time to really lock in and figure out where you need to be. But yeah, it's gonna be a good spring, man. I think there's some really fun early season like non-region matchups. Those are always a good time. There's like some teams that you obviously don't see play each other all the time in that time of the year. Obviously, some teams travel. You get some guys not close to home or far away, which is cool to see. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that first week of the year. I have that locked in. Obviously, going to be chasing some guys around. Excited to see everybody, whether it's parents, players, coaches. I mean, I'm fired up to see everybody. Like I'm excited to be there 3 hours early already. Like
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
mean,
where I'm at.
and we're gonna try to map out our games each week and try to get a graphic out of where we're gonna be when. One for so we can kind of keep us on a schedule. Not be so much day by day, but try to get us on schedule, and so you guys know where we're at. Save us some seats. I know Ian's got the stool system. I rock one or usually one stool. I know Avery's adopted the stool system as well. So you know
This is where it's at. All right.
you know where our angles are at. So if you want to block off some seats, especially at like Houston County, you go down there and they're 4 rows deep at 2 p.m. before the game even starts. Or I'm trying to think where else, or a big chair section. But yeah, keep us in mind as these big matchups roll along. Get us some printouts. The Dugout Club boosters and team moms to go ahead and get the printouts ready for us. Throw it on the seat.
Yeah, yeah.
Reserved reserve
We'll
sign.
show the love back. We will do our best to do so in that aspect. So
Yeah. Well, outside of that, guys, just want to say thank you again for another great preseason. This is year, I don't know, I guess 5 for me technically, year 3 for you, or 4, 3.
yeah, I think 3 full ones. Yeah, so
Yeah.
three and
So,
some change. So yeah,
yep, best preseason yet. We're excited to get the high school season rolling. Like I said, we got a ton of stuff still to roll out from All State, from the IDs. So, stay tuned for all that good stuff. We've had some really awesome stuff on Instagram the last few days. Carter Raddick's post went insane, and then Xavier's as well. So it's fun to see you guys get that kind of attention. You guys are doing all the work. We're just posting it. So outside of that, thank you guys for an awesome preseason. Stay warm this weekend. Have a
that
good
was
practice this week, and yeah, we'll see you guys here soon, and we'll see you in the next episode.